And I'll turn it over to Cristina to introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cristina Guerrero. I am the Writing and Rhetoric Fellow at the Dream Center. I have been in this position for, I would want to say, about 2 years now.
Right, so one thing that we wanted to go over is a quote that we kind of used quite a bit in our office. They thought they could bury us, they didn't know we were seeds. This is a quote that we think really demonstrates and encapsulates, the difficulties and the hardships that we go through and how we get through them and suppress these barriers. So just to quickly kind of go over tonight's agenda, we just did the intro, but we're going to have a message from admissions, we're going to turn it over to Lisa Molina for a little bit. After that, we're kind of going to go over the policies that are impacting you as a student, and then going through applying for scholarships, the actual scholarship website where you're going to go through, essay basics, and then Cristina is going to go over essay questions, the examples, tips and tricks, the letter of recommendation, persistency in applying, how to boost your competitiveness. And then at the very end, we are going to have a drawing for some gift cards, and we'll go over questions. But for now, just a reminder, we will be recording starting now. So make sure that you keep your cameras and mics off. And if you do have any questions or comments, you can raise your hand, use the raise your hand feature, or you can ask it in the chat. Just thank you for your cooperation. Okay, and then just to, oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so right now, before we go over that, we're going to turn it over to Lisa.
Thank you, Cynthia. It's a pleasure to meet with you all today. So I was just invited to your meeting today to just talk more about how admissions can help you in the process. So I know, hopefully maybe in the chat, if people can just let me know, is there any high school students in the room? And if not, is this your first go around here at the college? That would be great. If you can just throw that in the chat for me so I can get a feel for who's in the room. Okay, we do have some seniors. Good. Okay, awesome. So I just wanted to make sure that that I'm talking the information that I'm talking to is relevant. So let me just share screen. So then that way y'all can see what I have for y'all today.
Should I stop my screen share, Lisa?
Oh yes, if that.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry if I.
There we go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'm just from the Office of Admissions, and basically part of my role is just to help advise and consult students on how best, what are the options here. And this is great because most of you, I'm hoping that you've already completed your admissions application. So that's one of the first requirements in order to apply for scholarships, since that's what you are here for today. And so I just want to let you all know what our office can help you with. I know there are some things that, we can these are the 3 things that we can help you with. So number 1 is completing the enrollment process. So that it also includes your admissions application, referring you to what college placement may be good for you in terms of what program you are going into or major. Also completing new student orientation. So with orientation, for those of you that are in high school, seniors in the room, definitely talk to your high school college advisor. We're having specific orientations through Salt Lake Community College with your high school, specifically for the seniors, to help you, complete that orientation if you haven't done so already. And if you've already done the online orientation, I still recommend that you still sign up for that, because that's a really great opportunity to meet other students. So talk to your college advisor about joining Salt Lake Community Orientation Days. The other thing that we can help you is also, like I mentioned, helping you advise on opportunities here at the community college. So learning about the majors, scholarships. So this is a really great other event that you could have joined today to learn more about how to cater more to scholarships and also just how to get started in general. And then lastly, what I want to mostly touch on is residency. This is for tuition purposes, so helping you apply for residency classification or an exemption. So hopefully, okay. So basically what our office can do and help supporting is just helping you learn what residency is. And so that comes through our office. So just based on how you answer the questions on your residency application is how we look at and determine residency. And so when we say residency, onto your left of your screen this is what we base it off. And just keep in mind also residency is a Utah state policy. So that is a mandate from Utah legislation. And so all public colleges and universities go have similar and go through the same process of determining students' residency for tuition. So one of them is the three listed on your screen. So you do need to be designated US citizen, permanent resident, or granted asylum. So if you've been granted asylum and you have a documentation for that, then we can just take that and use that for classification purposes. The other part that you may have noticed when you were doing your admissions application is that we were asking, have you been in Utah for 12 continuous months? That's another one. We also asked about taxes. So we just look at, are you financially independent or claimed as a dependent? And also, are you obtaining a Utah driver's license and Utah vehicle registration? So that's what we mean by becoming a Utah resident and really relinquishing those ties from other states. So that's the website link there if you have more questions about it. But I do want to introduce the HB 144 affidavit, which is through residency. So this is an exemption. Utah, it's an affidavit for a tuition waiver, in other words. And these would be the requirements that you would need. So you would need to graduate from a Utah high school and attend there for 3 or more years. Also have graduated from that Utah high school. And also one of the questions that it does ask is, will you file an application to be authorized for immigration status? Also that you have not attended to another university or college before 2002. So most of you have not. And also that you are not on a current US visa. So HB 144 is for students who don't meet all of our residency requirements, who are undocumented, or also international students can apply for the HB 144 affidavit. So just 2 documents that we would need from you is an official high school transcript to look at those 3 or more years that you've attended and graduated a Utah high school, and also the form. And those can be found on our website here. And so myself or the Dream Center can help you fill it out, also help you learn more about what the HB 144 entails as well. And then just lastly, I just want to talk about reasons for updating your application. So for those of you in the room who are maybe one of these 3, so maybe it's your first time applying, right? But you didn't register for classes, or you haven't taken classes for a full year, then we would just require you to update your enrollment status. So just letting us know that you plan to start classes in a future semester. Also concurrent enrollment students, so if you're currently taking college courses at your high school through concurrent, you would also need to update your application just to let us know that you're no longer in high school and you just want to continue on with the college courses as a first-time freshman. And also school applied technology students. So if you're taking classes through clock hour and now you want to do credit courses, then we also require that update. So the great thing about the update is that we honor your application payment for 3 years. So that means you don't have to pay the $40 fee again within that 3-year time frame. Okay, if you just need more help on just getting either your update getting that going, or if you want to learn more about concurrent enrollment because this is your senior year and you just want to learn more about how you can take advantage of taking some college courses before it's your first semester, you can do so at these two events. We're having one tomorrow. That first one will be that virtual live chat. So that link is there. So take a picture of this. And then we also have one coming up February 24th for concurrent enrollment. So those are the two events that I'm inviting you to learn more about admissions if you have more questions. And lastly, thank you for also being in the space with me and inviting me today. This is my contact information if you do want to get in contact with me about anything related to admissions. And if you have questions more in general, you're welcome to call our main line. All right, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for coming. All right, so we're going to reshare over here. And then, yeah, so again, just thank you, Lisa. That's really informative. We're really happy that you were able to attend. And then, so Lisa did mention HB 144. She did go over that. The other law that kind of comes into place for undocumented students is SB 253. And this is the policy that if you graduated from a Utah high school, then you are eligible to apply for privately funded scholarships through an institution. So for instance, these are the scholarships that you're going to find on the Award Spring, which is the website where the scholarships are run through SLIC. So this is just kind of to let you guys know that to apply for those scholarships on there, you do need to be eligible for SB 253. And then I will turn it over to Cristina.
All right, thank you so much, Cynthia, and thank you, Lisa, for joining us. So now when it comes to applying for scholarships, so I'm pretty sure some of you have already had experience with scholarships, but when we are looking at them, we definitely always want to make sure that we're checking those requirements, checking GPA requirements, any specific extracurricular activities or volunteer experiences that they are asking for. Do they need a personalist statement? Most of them do. I would say actually majority of them require some type of personal essay format in some way. Do they need a resume or a CV? Is a letter of recommendation required? And how many do you need? You want to go to the next slide, please? Okay. So we're going to go over what is a personal statement. So a personal statement is your story. It can include your experiences, what are your personal academic goals, any accomplishments or awards, is there any barriers that you have faced, what financial stressors have hindered your success. So this is a great way to introduce yourself to the committee that is reviewing your scholarship application. Remember, they know nothing about you, so anything that you want to include and make sure that they do know about you, you want to make sure you have it in this essay. Okay, I'm gonna go next, please. Thank you. And then just a few, so these are a few things as when you get started on writing your essay to consider when you're writing everything down. So always be as detailed as possible. Make every word count. Showcase yourself by being detailed in every word you use. Make sure that you're answering the prompt and that your response is unique. Reach and stay incredibly close to the word limit. So if it's asking for 300 words or 1,000 words, be incredibly incredibly close or the actual word limit. Reach the word limit, sorry. And then avoid using any contractions such as can't, don't, or won't. Spell the words out. Cannot, do not, will not. Be intentional with your rhetorical moves. So this is your persuasiveness. In every type of writing that you do, you always make sure that there's some type of persuasiveness to it, right? So a personal statement is not anything different to that. With every word that we use, every comma, every period, we want to make sure that you're making your intentions are showcasing who you are. And this is part of the process that we go through when we review your essay and make sure that it's showing the strong person that we're meeting to that committee. And again, the essay must read like you. So any words, make sure that it is that you understand what you're saying, that to be as clear as possible, to make sure that they know. And if there is an interview process, that whatever they're reading off the essay, that's who they're going to meet as well in person. You want to go next?
Right, so this is a little bit more in regards to how to actually go about applying for the scholarships. So if you're going to log into AwardSpring, so at slcc.awardspring.com. And once you're there, you're going to go into the option that says sign in with your school account. You are going to need an SLCC username. So this is for after you've been admitted, or if you are a concurrent enrollment student, I do believe you should be able to use that as well. Or it should be the same, sorry. With that in mind, you would log in with your MySLCC username and your password. And once you've done that, you will see this page where it has the dashboard, scholarships, and application. You're going to click on Start Application, and there are going to be 5 total sections where you are going to fill out you have to fill out all of these sections completely. So make sure that you are answering every single question. And the 2 most important things that you should give priority to are the essay questions and your letter of recommendation.
Okay, so this is going to be the Salt Lake Community College general application, and this could be found in that link that Cynthia just showed us. So we're going to go through each question and offer a few different directions that you can possibly take these prompts with. For the first question, what prompted you to pursue an education at SLIC? So why attend SLIC compared to anywhere else? Does it involve accessibility? The tuition rate is less? Is it closer to home? Are you looking for a specific program of study that SLIC offers? Are there any organizations or extracurricular opportunities that play a part for your reason to choose SLIC? So all of this, definitely you would want to make sure that you're answering, and there are different directions that you can take it, but if there is something that played an important role that is unique to you, you definitely want to make sure you're putting that on there. Me personally, for when I read this, a reason I'm an alumni at SLIC, I got my associates there. So accessibility played a huge part in it for me. It was close to home. The tuition rate was much less than other universities, and that was important to me. And I definitely loved knowing that the class size was smaller. So starting out made it a little bit more comfortable, more easier, making sure that any questions I had, the teacher would be able to answer them for me. Any different direction that you can think of for this question, go for it. And then if there's one or multiple, we want to make sure that you're reaching that word limit. So answering as much of the questions as possible and being as detailed as possible will really fit this. Okay, and then so the second question, what are your educational goals? What do you hope to accomplish at SLIC? Are there an associate's degree or program, an associate's degree program or major that you are considering? Are there any internships or organizations or clubs that might interest you? And what is your end goal? So what do you plan to do? Do you want to earn a certificate or transfer to a 4-year university? Do you want to graduate a master's or PhD? Ultimately, what is your dream, right? What role does SLIC play in this pathway that you're taking? For example, me, I did my associates at Salt Lake Community College, and then I transferred over to the University of Utah. And when I would apply for scholarships, I would make clear that plan in that direction I was going, and what I would do with this associate's degree, what I would do with my major, and what I would be able to offer after I was in the career, in the workforce, and what I could offer to them specifically. If there is something that you say you graduate and everything and you want to come back to work at Salt Lake Community College, that's always going to be great and that's always going to be attractive to them as well. But always make sure that you're choosing ultimately your plan, what you want to do. Okay. And then, so we're going to go on to the question 3, and then talk about a personal accomplishment that is unrelated to academics, but that means a lot to you. This is a very broad question, so there's so many different directions you can take this one in, but just a few questions to get it started for you. What is the defining moment in your life? What have you accomplished in your personal life? What have you achieved at work? What journeys have you had? How have you gained self-confidence, self-awareness, or any positive growth? What changes have occurred in your life? Has it changed your perspective? There is so many different directions this can be taken into. It could be, for example, this is just mine. My major is writing and rhetoric, but and I've always wanted to work with students, and with my background, I never thought I would be able to work at the Dream Center, but I do have a lot of roots with the Dream Center in perspective, like where my background, I'm a Latina, I'm a DACA student, and I felt I like the resources that they're providing. I felt comfortable, but I never pictured myself working there. So that was an experience, and that is an experience for me that really means a lot, that connects my roots as well to my academic goals. But and this can be a completely different thing, right? It could be something in your life, you got a promotion at your job. So there's so many directions you can take this, and I definitely want to say this is where you're gonna shine the most and show them who you are personally and versus academically. You want to go to the 4th question, please? Describe a challenge you have overcome and what you learned from that challenge. So this challenge could be related to school, work, or your personal life, any hardships you may have faced. What is your reason for attending higher education? Did your hardship play a role in wanting to go to college, to SLCC specifically? Defining your own identity. So you can definitely use this opportunity to define who you are. What is so important for the committee to know? What do you want them to know about you that you have not mentioned in the past questions? Right? And I believe this is the last question of the general application. What impact would receiving a scholarship have on your ability to complete your education? So consider any time constraints in your life. Are you working multiple jobs or time-consuming jobs that are taking time away from your responsibilities, from your schoolwork? Are you a provider at home that you do need to work? If you receive this scholarship, is it going to be able to minimize stress or burden? It provides you more time to do your homework, more time to pursue any creative endeavors, an extra ability to support your family. What specifically would the scholarship help you? And this one, I would want to say, me personally, I always want to get creative with, just because I mean, it's the obvious answer, college is expensive, and a scholarship will definitely alleviate so much stress. But other than those reasons, what does a scholarship, how is it going to help in your personal life or maybe your academic life? Okay, and so this part of the presentation, so I definitely wanted to kind of give an idea of what the work that I do in the Dream Center looks like, and I believe it's going to also help you when writing your personal essay. So we're going to do a mini workshop, and this is actually from a student last year, in last year's general application, that used one of these prompts and actually received an award from it. Right? So this is the unedited version of the essay, okay? And we're gonna read it and we're gonna go through it. And then I'm gonna probably ask a few questions, and maybe ask if there is anything that pops up that you may think needs to be changed. And then if you feel free to raise your hand or go to the chat box if you'd like, and then we can work our way from there. So the question was, outline your academic career goals and what made you decide to pursue these goals. This was a 300-word limit, just as the other ones have been, okay? I am currently in my second semester in the nursing program. My only academic goal for a long time was to get into the nursing program. I'd like to become a neonatal or pediatric nurse. However, these are my career goals. For my academic goals, I want to try to make the dean's list each semester. Granted, I have the required credit hours. Otherwise, I'm aiming towards earning a 4.0 GPA. I want to be a nurse because I want to help others. When I was young, I experienced my nephew being born, the way the nurses handled everything from the compassion they showed to the hard work they accomplished. It has stayed with me for a very long time. This event has highly influenced me. It's what started me on the path I'm on. It is what helped me realize that I wanted to work with babies. I'm passionate about doing everything possible to help those who just came into this world, those who this world will eventually be passed on to, those who cannot help themselves. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few, let's say about 2-3 minutes to glance over it if you'd like. I see that, and then if there is anything that you may think needs to be changed, or if you have any questions at all, definitely raise your hand or in the chat. Let's see.
So we do have a question, and I don't know if you want to leave it until the end, but it looks like it's asking, would you recommend we use all 300 words?
Okay, so thank you, Cynthia. For this specific question, yes, I do recommend if you like say if you're 298 or like that 2 words, it's not going to make a huge difference, but cut it very, very, very close to the 300 words. I would definitely want to say if they're asking for 300, just try to meet it. If you do 100 words, it could be a really, really good essay and but there is always more that you can add to make sure that we can reach that word limit, because it's there for a reason, right? So it's something that they're looking out for. So we do want to reach those 300 words or as close as possible as we can get. Okay. Is there anything that anyone sees that might be considered? We can change it a little bit, because overall, this is a really, really great essay prompt, right? She has a plan. She knows what she's wanting to do academically and career goals on there. Overall, it is a really great essay, and we don't want to change anything about her specific intentions that are already listed on there. Okay, let's see. So I'm gonna give it about maybe, let's say, 1 more minute.
You saw it.
Yeah. Yes, contractions in the first sentence. Did everybody catch those? So in the first sentence, immediately you already see I'm, you see second, and you see a few of those overall. And those are okay, like when you're texting or in your personal life, but specifically for academics, and even when you're like in a professional job or professional career, we always want to make sure we're spelling everything out. It just shows that you are more professional, you're determined. It's something that is more, I would want to say, attractive to a committee, if that's like the correct word to use, but definitely something we want to look out for, just to make you, and it is also helping with the word limit, right? Okay, let's see. How about we go to the edited version now? Okay, so same essay, just a few changes, and then we're gonna see these changes like we mentioned. So there is contraction changes, I am second, and there's a few other I ams that you see around. So the first, let's see, when I look at this, I want to make sure that detail, there's always so much detail that we're not leaving anything out, that we can pack it all with as much information as possible so that the committee who reads this knows who this person is, right? What are their goals? What are their interests? Why do they want to pursue this? And so immediately, so goals within the detailed plan. Before, the person only had, my only academic goal for a long time was to get into the nursing program. And then after, she added, now I aim to finish the program, obtain my bachelor's, and ultimately receive a master's of science in nursing. At the beginning, we only knew that she wanted to go into the nursing program. We didn't even know she was hoping to reach or attempt to go to a master's of science. So that's a huge difference from A to B of what the committee is going to see. And then if we go a little bit down, we see there's a detailed experience added. So what about, she did mention about that the impact of seeing her nephew being born caused her to want to go into a nursing program. But what specifically about that experience was that made you decide, I want to be a nurse and make that commitment? The use of vocabulary. So I believe before she had babies, and when you want to make sure, especially with nursing and anything medical, there is much certain terminology that you are using. This is just going to show your interest, the committee, that you are interested and you are already receiving information and gaining knowledge about your prospective degree that you want to join. And so she replaced it to newborns, infants, and children. And that's a bunch of different age groups, right? It's not just babies anymore. Babies are from a specific age, but now newborns, infants, and children. So it's going to be a wide range of people. And then initially ending with a very strong ending. So we want to make sure that after you say everything, you are providing and like ending on a strong note, showing them that you're confident, showing them that you want to pursue this career path because this is gonna be X, Y, and Z. And then let's just read this again, and we'll see the difference that it kind of, like, adding these few details and making these couple changes made to the essay. It shows it more complete. You're providing more information about yourself. I'm just gonna start reading. Let's see. So I am currently in my second semester in the nursing program. My only academic goal for a long time was to get into the nursing program. Now I aim to finish the program, obtain my bachelor's, and ultimately receive a Master of Science in nursing. After this is all done, I would like to become a neonatal or pediatric nurse. However, these are my career goals. Academically, I am aiming to make the dean's list each semester, granted I have the required credit hours. Otherwise, I am aiming towards earning a 4.0 GPA. I want to be a nurse because I want to help others. When I was young, I experienced my nephew being born. I remember the nurses fluttering around my sister, offering everything she could want or need. In his first few minutes, I watched the nurses clean a little crying newborn. They wiped him down, cleaned his nose, then they handed him to my mom, my sister, and eventually to me. I was able to hold my baby nephew, the now 12-year-old I got to watch grow up. The way the nurses handled everything, from the compassion they showed to the hard work they accomplished, it has stayed with me for a very long time. This event has highly influenced me. It is what started me on the path I am on. It is what helped me realize that I wanted to work with newborns, infants, and children. I am passionate about doing everything possible to help those who came into this world, those who this world will eventually be passed on to, those who cannot help themselves. If I am utilizing my life to help and, if possible, better the lives of others, I will feel accomplished. Okay, and so just making those little touches really, really impacted and made a difference. And we learned more about this person. There's a reason, there's meaning behind her choosing this career path, right? And that's definitely something that you want to show the committee. Okay. Is there any questions about the process? Okay. Well, either way, my work at the Dream Center is specifically doing that, reading the papers with you, reviewing them with you, offering suggestions and changes. And even though I offer these suggestions and changes, I always want to make sure that everyone knows that this essay, I wanted to read like you. So if there's something that ever pops up that you just know that's not me, I do not like that, feel free to deny the suggestion and we can discuss it and see what might make what's more comfortable for you. And you can always, so right now, because of everything going on, we did switch my hours to online drop-in hours, and you can go through Zoom, that there's a Zoom ID and a password. Those drop-in hours are Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Or you can also make an appointment. My email is listed below. So it's christina.guerrero@utah.edu. If you like to take a picture of this, feel free to do so. We can work on resumes, CVs, scholarships, any writing questions that you may have, feel free to ask them right away, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming. Okay, let's see. Cynthia, do you want to go to the next slide? Okay, and then letters of recommendation. So this specific scholarship, I believe it does ask for a letter of recommendation, and it asks you to write the email address of who you want that person to recommend to write the letter for you. So always, even before you ask them, even though it's just an email address, be courteous and personally ask them if it's okay for them to use, for you to use their email address in the scholarship. Ask anyone who knows you as a student, a volunteer, or a leader. It does not include family or friends. And then make sure to ask 2 to 3 weeks in advance at least. Be courteous of their time, and also it's going to help you to not rush into it and be struggling the last few days to make sure that it's all there. Let them know when the scholarship is due and the name of the scholarship you are applying for. Ask the person if they would like to see your resume as a resource apart from their interactions or experiences you have had together. This will definitely help them know you more apart from that experience, so they know like what they could jazz up in that letter of recommendation for you, and just kind of get a clear idea of what your goals are.
Okay, and this portion is just to let you guys know that the general application, after you finish submitting that, you'll be applied, you'll automatically be applied to all of the scholarships that you're eligible for. But at that point, you may have follow-ups. So you may be asked to state how many credit hours you're planning on taking, because there might be a minimum requirement. There is also scholarships that do require additional essay questions to be answered. The one that comes to mind is the Brew and Dream Scholarship that has 2 additional questions on it. And with that in mind, you just have to try and make sure that when you are turning in your scholarship applications, you're making sure to leave yourself enough time to be able to do these follow-ups in case you do have to write extra essay questions and you do have to turn in any other information. With that, we have put the scholarship deadlines on here. So for incoming students, your deadline is going to be March 1st. And for current students, your deadline is going to be March 15th. And this is for scholarships for the fall 2021 and spring 2022 academic school year. For summer of 2021, it's going to be April 15th. So keep those deadlines in mind. Try and make sure you're going to Christina with enough time to be able to complete all of your process, all of the process on all of your steps. And the other thing is, we did want to point out these particular scholarships. Undocumented students are eligible. Oh, so sorry about that. Undocumented students are eligible to apply for these scholarships. So, you know, if you see that so the questions you answer, partly they are going to bring up scholarships that you specifically are eligible for. If you do see these, try and concentrate on these. They're awesome scholarships, and a lot of them, for instance, Select Health is a full ride. So things to keep in mind if you guys just want to take like a quick picture of this or a screenshot or something. I'll leave it on for a sec. Okay.
Okay. So let's see, boosting your competitiveness. If you're applying for scholarships, these are a few things that you can put into your application, or you can even do prior to your application just to make sure that you're being more competitive and, you know, showcasing yourself a little bit more with extra things that you are doing. So increasing or maintaining your GPA. Are there any clubs that you have participated, want to participate, or going to participate? Civic engagement opportunities. So want to make sure that once you put these in your application that you do have some time in them already. And what is your role in that specific club or opportunity that you have participated in? Registering for any concurrent enrollment courses. If you have any questions about this, please reach out to Lisa. Her email is right there. It is lisa.molina@slc.edu, and she can definitely help out with any questions in regards to concurrent enrollment classes. Are you attending any public events held by different community organizations, colleges, or universities? So any of those will definitely help just add a little bit more to your scholarship application. And then, so we also have a QR code. Those, if you want to take a picture of it, it does have the list of February scholarships for this month. And if there's like any questions about the scholarships or overall in the information, we will provide our email address towards the end of the presentation, and then you can definitely reach us in regards to any of those as well. Okay.
And it does look like we do have a question in the chat, if we just want to take that. It says, if someone has a bad GPA and bad semester, can they still apply to scholarships?
I would make sure to double check with like the specific requirement, just because there are some scholarships that do like ask for a specific GPA, right? Like if it's asking for at least a 2.5, something that I always wanted to make sure like that I let students know sometimes that they will have a contact, like usually at the end of the scholarship. Send them an email, just a quick email to double check if it's okay for you to apply, because sometimes you never know, they might say yes if they had like a really low application pool and they want to just make sure more students apply. But there is some scholarships that don't require a specific GPA requirement that I would 100% say go for it. Like those will be completely fine. But if they do have a GPA requirement, just want to double check with that contact person on the scholarship.
Yeah, no, and just to add to that, sometimes you can even, if you do contact them, they will let you either write in a space. Sometimes they do have a space for you to write maybe why your GPA is a little bit lower, what occurred, if certain life circumstances cause that. So just something else to keep in mind.
That's a great question. Thank you. And then, so we do want to emphasize persistence in applying. We understand that the process of applying for scholarships is stressful and discouraging at times. So you may not always receive what you hope to gain, but do not lose hope and confidence in yourself. We constantly encourage you to apply to scholarships, because that one scholarship might be the one that sees the potential we see in you. So always never lose confidence in your ability. We know who you are, and that's why we push so hard for everyone to constantly apply to scholarships and then to revise and get the resources available so that we make sure that you have a really good shot at getting that scholarship. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, and just to end it with, we see you, we believe in you, and we are 100% committed to your success. So everyone at the Dream Center is here to help in any way that we can. Christina, you have Christina available to you, and she is fantastic at what she does. She is great. And you can, if you do want to meet with someone at the Dream Center directly, you can meet with myself, with our coordinator or our peer mentor. And you can send us an email or give us a call. I do also suggest following us on Instagram. We do have monthly scholarships on there, and like the list on the QR code that you saw, we put those lists up every month. So that is, something that we suggest doing. And aside from that, we are going to have a raffle with a combination of gift cards and books. And if you could give me one moment, just while we figure something out real quickly. Okay, figured it out. All right, so all of the students who stayed until the end, you will be getting a prize for staying until the end. So congratulations on that. If I could have you guys send us an email at dreamcenter@slcc.edu with the following information. So I'm going to ask you guys to send your name, your student number, whether you're an incoming student or a current student, and if you're a concurrent enrollment student, to put that in the email as well. And yeah, I mean, aside from that, that was all we had. Thank you everyone for attending and for taking the time to come to this presentation to learn a little bit more about writing scholarships. Essays, scholarship essays.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, is it just us four now? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
All right.
so.
Silver? Class. I think he's not out of it. And
Oh,
the professor's always like, hey,
what'd you think? What did you mean?
Who's Peter?
like,
Who's Peter?
Peter is the coordinator for the GSSRC, the Gender and Student.
I was like, that name looked familiar, and it
Gender.
sounded professional. I was like, who is that?
The
White.
Gender and Student Resource Center.
Come on.
But yeah.
He's cool.
Okay.
He does tarot readings.
Oh, nice. Okay, that was pretty fast.
It was fast.
Yeah, that was an hour long. So I mean, that's good for planning in the future.
Yeah, and I feel like this is one of our longest like slide presentations wise.
Weird.
Yeah, are we gonna do one for,
Oh, let me stop recording. Yikes.
oh, that would be helpful.